walked over to short leash dogs. I'll give you more thoughts on that later. They're really trying to art this street up. 7th Avenue in Phoenix, just between Indian School and Camelback. At the north end, there's a light rail station. And it's an older street. Let me cross out of this guy's way. Close to downtown, uptown actually, which is now downtown, because uptown keeps moving up. But they got a lot of work to do. You know, here's abandoned Chinese restaurant, abandoned Mexican restaurant. There's a lot of old businesses that have been here a long time. Lock and Safe Company, hearing aid company, things like that. And if they're gonna turn this into an arty space, they're gonna have to flesh out some of these old things, like this transmission shop. I don't know. I mean, it's good. It's walking distance to my house. And that means it's good for my property values if they succeed. Although the most pretentious part is they call it Melrose, which is not what it is. It's 7th Avenue. Anyway, this is also where it intersects with the Canal, about halfway between Indian School and Camelback. Maybe a little closer to Indian School. I'm not 100% sure about that, but roughly in the middle. And this canal runs right near my house. So it'll be nice when they get it all fixed up. I think they're building a path through there to that street, and they're just using it for storing the landscaping gravel. They don't seem to be working today. But here, I'll show you what they're doing. It's not just paving it. I don't know, they're doing superfluous stuff like this. Why have they built this little detour around? I don't know. It's clearly unnecessary. The traffic is never going to get so much that some people are going to have to move onto the side lane to get around. And if so, then they're screwed the rest of the way. It's clearly just some sort of a design choice. I've seen some of this stuff over in, it's either Chandler or Tempe, where the canals run, and they've already done this. And they've made them into nice spaces, so I'm not complaining, but it is a little weird. And then there's this thing. I don't know what it is. It's obviously going to have lights. I'd guess an art installation, or perhaps seating. I don't know. And here's another sidewalk access to the street. I don't know how many of those there'll be. I've only seen the two, and they're both within a block of the entrance anyway, so I'm not sure what the plan there is, or why they picked those spots. Maybe they don't know. I'm thinking a lot of these people are going to want to rethink their backyard wall plans. This used to be basically, it's always been a path for people to travel along, but it used to be basically an alleyway, a service corridor, and now it's going to be a prime travel through. It's interesting that all the block walls along here have their street numbers painted on them. Most of them don't have back fences or gates. Some of them do. Most of them do not. And that's new, I'm pretty sure. I wonder if it's a requirement. Looks like the ones with fences do too. As I'm heading further west. They weren't like that at the far end. And then just suddenly one of them did, and then all the rest of them have, including chain link fences. Yeah, it must be a requirement. I can see how the police might want to know. You're over here. Oh, they've done it on the other side too. Huh. Weird. Well, we've arrived at my end of this segment, and as you can see across the street, that's where the pavement ends too. Wish they'd hurry up and get on with that problem. I'm at the other end of this segment. So when I say segment, I am talking about broadly where the streets cross the canals. In Phoenix, that's going to be at 19th Avenue, 7th Avenue, Central, 7th Street, etc. They're typically about mile marks. The larger street. Oh no, 15th. Sorry, I missed 15th. So half mile marks. And I was walking this section from 15th to 7th Avenue. That's where they've paved. And now looking at this, I was half joking, but apparently they aren't. They've started construction on the segment from 19th to Indian School, and that naming convention doesn't work the same as the others because it crosses Indian School. It's diagonal. The canal runs diagonally there. So it begins crossing the east-west streets too. And they've started working on that segment, which means they've skipped the entire segment behind my house. What the hell is it with the assholes in this city? I think I might take the bike out today and run down the canal going that way and see what they've done. See if there's any more sections that are skipped. There were some sections that had sidewalks for years. Let's see if they've spruced those up with landscaping and lights and stuff. I'm gonna be mighty pissed if they're decided for some reason that this section is the only section left in town that doesn't need to be done. It's exactly half a kilometer from my house to the canal, and I see from my watch as I just left the canal that I have 6/10 of a kilometer to go to reach 5. So I'm just going to detour around an extra block so that I can get my 5. Because that's what you have to do. You have to just take it and go that extra bit. And I have to keep doing more and more. And eventually, I'm going to run out of time in the day. Very much got a surprise today. In the post, this shirt, which was sent to me by Simon and Sharon. Thank you so much. It's not only a complete and absolute shocking surprise, it's much appreciated, and I thank you. It's very thoughtful, and it fits, which, you know, if I hadn't lost some pounds recently, might not have stretched over my tummy, but it fits. So perfect. Thank you. I'm out on a bike ride to see how far the cement path goes. I've gone 6 kilometers. The canal, Indian School's an east-west road, down around 20, I don't know, 1st, 2nd Avenue. It goes north and then up and across, and then it comes back down and crosses Indian School again here at about 16th Street. And this seems to be the end of the construction. All along the way, it's either torn up on the side and they've put landscaping in, or maybe they've just put the lights in, or sometimes they've just got holes for the plants. Sometimes all the plants are in, but they haven't put in the gravel. each segment is completely different. It's like they're not following a plan at all. Anyway, I'm going to turn around here and head back for the moment. Now on the other side, so the funny thing is we're at about 16th Street, but we're just about a quarter of a block away. And then you would cross 16th Street because we're going diagonally here. And I can see on the far side, past 16th, it's cement again. But I'm not going to follow that. I was just out for a short ride. So I'll check that out on another day. I can't figure these out either. These roads come to a dead end here. And they've added an extension to the sidewalk so that they join up with the path. But then they've put in these obviously custom-built, form-shaped cement. It's not a pathway to continue the road. It's got that sort of reverse E shape that indicates that it's bespoke for something, but I don't know what. And it doesn't make any sense that this would be like a bridge, because if it were, there'd be something on the other side, but there isn't. It's just the guy's house. Typically when they put in a bridge, there's a matching street on the other side that dead ends. And then it's only for pedestrians and bikes. They don't put in car streets because the people in the neighborhoods hate that. They probably hate the bike ones too, but fuck them. So there happened to be a Salt River project man working the canal valves, and I stopped to ask him why they were skipping over this segment. And well, for starters, I just went down the other direction and verified indeed they have skipped this section completely, and they're working on the next two sections. They're already putting in the cement bases for the lights and beginning to grate down the ground in preparation for putting in the sidewalks, but absolutely nothing here between 19th and 15th Avenues, which I might add is just a half mile. Anyway, I asked the SRP guy, he said, oh, we don't only do that every 7 years. I'm like, what? But what about, oh, no. See, it turns out, and this explains one mystery, Salt River Project, who own the canals, are in charge of the south side of the canal banks. And the city of Phoenix has the north side, which is why the city of Phoenix is putting in the sidewalks and the lights and everything on the wrong side of the canal. So no hope there of anything good ever happening on this side of the canal, but at least the mystery is solved. He had no idea why they'd skip that segment. He said they do demographics and decide where people are riding bikes, and that's where they put them in. I thought, well, that makes no sense whatsoever, but because, you know, if you're riding your bike there and people are riding their bike there, and there's a half a mile gap in between, it's hard to believe that their demographics show such a dramatic drop-off in that one interstitial segment that it would be worth not doing along with the others. But you know, it could be simple as some idiot with an Excel spreadsheet. They're looking at it like, oh, this segment had 983 bikes on it, and that segment over there had 982 bikes on it, and this one had 981. Sort them? Oh, do that one last. That's the kind of stupidity I expect from people, or hadn't then been abundantly clear over the years.